Welcome to Painting with Harold. Today we're using a 16 by 20 inch canvas covered in a thin coat of liquid white. Our colors today are going to be titanium white, phthalo blue, alizarin crimson, midnight black, mountain mix, dark sienna, Van Dyke brown, sap green, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, and bright red. Alright, if you're ready, let's paint this. First thing we're going to do, we're going to grab us a 2-inch brush, come right up here, get us just a little bit of our phthalo blue, and a little bit of the mountain mix color. And just mix these two colors right together on the brush. Just black and blue. Using the little X strokes. Start right out in the corner. Get the corners good and dark. Then we'll work our way across the top. Just using little small X strokes. And you can see the paint's already mixing with the liquid white. So the further you come down, the lighter it's going to get toward the horizon. Trying to leave a few little light spots in the sky and a few little dark spots. That'll give us some actions up there rather than making it just look like a one big flat sky. It'll give us just a little bit of a realness to it. Alright, once you get to the bottom, you'll come back up and just real lightly start at the bottom and blend up. That'll keep from bringing the dark colors back down. Now you can see a few of the light spots we left. Alright, we'll just blend out the corners just a little bit. Make that paint just blend into the sky area. Alright, now once we're happy with the sky, we'll come back down. I'm going to grab just a little bit. Well, actually, we're going to grab some sap green. I won't say a little bit. It's a good bit of sap green. I want to come right back over here and get a little bit of the blue. So we got sap green and blue. And come up and start from the outsides, pulling in. And this will be what we're going to use for water later on in the painting. And whatever else we need to use this bottom for. It'll just be good and dark. But just pulling the color in from the side. Just level, even strokes. You want it to be a little bit darker at the bottom and let it get lighter as it comes up. And it'll do that as it mixes with the liquid white that's on the canvas. Leaving that little bit of area in the center, leaving it white. When we blend it out, that white spot will stay. It'll look like just a little shimmer of light across the water. And then we're just going to lightly blend all the way across the canvas. Not a lot of pressure right here, just lightly blending the color together. And you can see that spot we left in the middle, it's just staying there by itself. And it just kind of looks like a little sheen of light. And just blend this out until you're happy with it. And that's looking pretty good about right there. Alright, now we're going to take a 1-inch brush with a little bit of red on it. Come right into the titanium white and just tap the brush in it. Come up in the sky making little circles. Just little small circles. Keep the brush moving. we're going to put us in some clouds. Just spinning that 1-inch brush. You come back in, get a little bit more paint. Come back up. See, just little circles is all it is. The trick here is just to keep the brush moving. All right, now with a 2-inch brush, we want to come up and just kind of lightly blend out the bottom. Try not to get into the top area. You want to leave it as bright white as you can. And then come up, fluff it up, and then just real lightly come across, just barely touching the canvas, and just set it right down into the sky. All right, now we'll grab our 1-inch brush again, come right back up into our color. We're going to drop just a little bit below the cloud that we just made. Come back up, and we'll just do the same thing again. Just load the brush up as you need to. Just little small circles, that's all we're doing. Just keep the brush moving. Then when you get that done, come back up, 2-inch brush again, and just lightly blend out the bottom. There again, trying to stay out of the top. Then fluff it up. And then very gently come across again. And just like that, we have instant clouds in our sky. All right, now with the knife, we'll come down here and get just a little roll on our knife, a little small roll of the mountain mix color. And decide where you want your mountain to be, and just come up using a good bit of pressure here. Just start putting your mountain shape up. And the thing you want to remember here is just keep the outside line good and clean. You're not worried about what's going on in the middle of it right now. Just get you a good outside line going. Just keep that outside line as clean as you can. You can add as many peaks as you want in your mountain, or you can add another mountain. You can do whatever you want here. It's your world, remember that. All right, we'll go grab just a tiny bit more paint. Come back up, we'll start on the other side. And once you get all your peaks in to where you want them, take your knife and come in and try to scrape as much of that paint out as you can. Now with a 2-inch brush, stay as close to the line as possible without going out of it. And on the right side, pull the color down and to the right. On the left side, same thing. Closest to the line as you can keep it. Pull down and to the left. Just pull down and to the right on the right side and to the left on the left side. And then just come across the bottom of your mountain and just blend the color out. And just like that, it's like you got a mountain just sitting there and a little layer of mist. Now pull you out some white, flat as you can get it. Get that little roll of paint on your knife. Come right up to your first peak. No pressure. I can't say that enough. No pressure. Just barely touching. Let that paint pour right off the knife. And if you're not using any pressure, it'll just pull right off, and it'll break. And that'll give you all those dark spots that you're looking for. And it's a very, very light pressure. When you run out of paint, just come back down, get you another little small roll, come back up. No pressure. I'm just making little small pulls with that knife. Just letting that paint pull right off. And this is where you start sculpting your mountain to make it look the way you want it to look. You can have it real smooth looking, or you can make it real rugged. Depends on how you want your mountain to look. Sometimes I like that real rugged look, real rocky, sharp pointed look. Sometimes I like a smoother mountain. I think it just depends on what mood I'm in. And you can see that paint's it's just pulling right off that knife. Just barely touching. Just barely touching. All right, now for a shadow color, I'm gonna use some white, a little bit of the phthalo blue, and I'm gonna grab just a little bit of the mountain color that we used and mix those colors together. And I want kind of a bluish gray color. And I'm not gonna mix these colors real thorough. I wanna leave them kind of marbled. That way you can see all the colors when you come up and start applying the paint. And I like to use that little edge of the knife when I come back up. For me, it's easier to get in and out of the little tighter spots with that little small edge. Just come right up to the main peak, right out to that outside line, and just pull that color down. Just barely touching again, no pressure. Just following that outside line without going outside of it. Just like that. Just real easy. No pressure. I can't say that enough. That seems to be one of the biggest problems people have with when they're making mountains is they use just a little bit too much pressure, or the paint they're using is not thick enough and it won't break off that knife the way you want it to. And it kind of looks like you've got a cake frosting on top of your mountain. And on your shadow side, it don't take as much paint as it does on the highlight side. You just want to, every little spot that you got to highlight, you want to come back in at that angle, the opposite angle, and just add a little bit of shadow, and it'll make it stand right up off the canvas. Almost gives it that 3D look. And all it is just playing light against dark. That's all it is. This is where you just want to have fun. You know, just come in there and sculpt you out a mountain, put you a peak where you want to, put you a shadow where you want to, and just have fun making a mountain. You know, don't let it get frustrating. You know, don't let it irritate you. Just have fun making it. And if you're not happy with it, just stop, walk away from it a little bit, come back later. Now you can see right there, just by adding that little bit of shadow behind those peaks, how it just raised them up right off the canvas. And it just looks like you've got a little protrusion sticking out the front of the mountain there. And all we did was just add a little highlight to one side, a little shadow color to the other. Light and darks. All right, now we'll come up here in this little small area here and just add us a little shadow across there. That's why I like that little edge of the knife. All right, now with a 2-inch brush, we want to gently, very gently tap the same direction that we came down. We want to tap that color back up into the mountain. Real gentle. You're not trying to destroy it. You're just trying to kind of dilute it just a little bit. Just gentle taps. And then you'll come on the other side and do the same thing. In the same direction you pull down, just tap back up. That's all we're doing. Just like so. And then once you get all of that done, just come back to the bottom of your mountain and just real lightly pull that color up and into the mountain. And what that'll do is it'll remove all those tap marks you just made. Now that's a real light touch right there. You just barely pulling up the color. And you want to be careful here not to pull paint outside of the mountain, because it will do it. All right, now if you can see that, it looks like you're looking through a little mist of fog right there. And that's what you're looking for. All right, now using a fan brush, we'll pick us up a little bit of the sap green, and we'll come over here and pick us up a little bit of the dark color, and just mix them together right there on the brush. And we'll come right up to the base of the mountain. Now, when you come up here, you want to be really careful that you don't kill all that mist. And all we're going to do is just come up here and tap the canvas with the brush and pull down. It's just a slight tap and pull down. That's why you want a lot of paint on your brush. You just want to come right up here, tap and pull down. Now once you get used to doing this, you'll get a little faster at it, and it'll actually look like you just smashing that canvas, but you're really not hitting the canvas that hard. You just got a lot of paint on the brush, and it don't take a lot of pressure to get it off. But the main thing right here is do not kill all the mist. That's the key. That mist acts as your separator between that tree line and the mountain. And don't make all the trees the same size. Make some of them taller, some of them shorter. Some of them can be a little wider, a little fatter, a little skinnier. Just let them look like they look like growing in nature. But it's just tap and pull down. That's all it is. All right, now see right here, I'm speeding up just a little bit. And it probably looks like I'm just smashing that canvas. But I'm actually not. I'm just using a little more speed, that's all. It just takes practice. That's all it is. And the more you practice, the better you'll get. And the better you get, the more you're going to want to paint. It's a never-ending cycle. We're just trying to be careful not to kill all that mist area back there. Bob used to say that mist is your friend. All right. And just like that, we got us a little line of trees across there. Then you can just come back across and kind of even out the bottoms as best you can. You can even come back up here, sometimes if you want to, and you can make a couple of the trees actually taller and go ahead and make them look like a full evergreen. Because you have that out in nature too. Some trees just are bigger than others. All right, now with a clean, dry 2-inch brush, we want to come right up to the canvas and just pull that color down. Just grab it and pull it down. That's all we're doing. Just come right into the color and just pull it down. Now right here, you want to pull that color down as straight as you can. You don't want it to get crooked. Just pull it straight down. And it'll give you instant reflections right into the water. And then flip the brush over and just real gentle, just come right across and just barely touch it. And just like that, you got instant reflections. All right, you can just come back with the 2-inch brush, pull that up just a little bit, and just clean all that area up, remove all those tap marks. And just like that, you've got a tree line that's reflecting into your water. Now we're gonna grab just a real small amount of dark sienna and mix it with white. And we want to come right up here and just cut us in a water line. But using that dark sienna and the color, it'll dull it down and it'll almost look like you got a little bit of land back there as well. Now keep that line as straight as you can. Because if it's leaning to one side or the other, it's gonna look like your water's running right out of the painting. And just like that, we've added us a little separation back there. Now what I'm doing right here is I'm coming right down off the tips and I'm gonna put just a tiny amount of white right under my mountain into the water. So I'm gonna come down from the tip and I'm gonna add just a little bit of white. And I'll do that on most of the major peaks. Just drop straight down. Add just a tiny amount of white. Very little. It don't take much to reflect the mountain colors into the water, because the mountain sits a little further back than the trees, so you're not going to get the entire mountain reflecting into the water. We just kind of want to give the indication that just a little bit of it, the reflection's picking up into the water. And I'm just pulling that color up back towards the water line itself. Just like so. Just real light. Then we'll come on this side, we'll do the same thing. You don't have to, I'm telling you, it don't take a lot right here to show a reflection of the actual mountain. Then with a 2-inch brush, come up here and just pull a little bit of that color down. And then just gently brush across it. And now it's like the mountain is reflecting into the water as well. And see, all it caught was that top part. Because I don't think you're going to catch the whole mountain in that with it setting that far back. All right, now we're going to get us a little sap green, a little bit of blue, and a little bit of our mountain color using a fan brush. I'm going to come right up here to the side and make sure you got plenty of paint on your brush. And let's just say we start right here. We'll just come right up here and just give ourselves the indication of a little trunk. Load that brush up again. Now we want to come back up, turn the brush sideways at an angle, and just start tapping. And then as we work down, we want to tap from one side to the other. Just lightly tapping. And we're just making us an evergreen here. Tapping from one side to the other. That's all we're doing. And we're not gonna come all the way down with this one. We're gonna stop it. And as you know, it's gonna have to have a friend. So we'll come back up here, load the brush up, same colors. Just get plenty of paint on your brush. Come right back up here beside that one. Put you in another little trunk. And just like on that last one, just start real tap, just tap, tap, tap. Drop down on the left side, come across, drop down on the right side. That's all we're doing. Just making little evergreens. All right, one more time. We'll load the brush up again, making sure we got plenty of paint on it. And I think this time we'll give this one just a little bit of a lean to it. Make it look a little different. So we'll bring it in at an angle. We'll make him look just a little different. And just real lightly tap that color right out of the brush. Just like so. Load the brush up. Now we'll go to the other side. Same thing on the other side. Start out with a little trunk, then turn using just the corner of the brush. And just tapping from one side to the other and dropping down. And we'll do the same thing on that side over there. We'll come down so far and then we'll just stop it. And we'll load the brush up again. And this time we're gonna come up and we're gonna give ourselves another little trunk indication. And all that trunk does is just act really like a guideline to kind of help you line things up. After you make enough of these trees, you won't even need to put that line in no more. You'll just come up and just tap out a tree. All right, and just like that, we got us some nice looking little evergreens in there. All right, now with a 2-inch brush, we'll come back down here, make us another good dark color, and load that brush up with dark color, and come right up into the trees and just start smashing it. Tap, tap, tap. Now I'm using a good bit of pressure right here. This is your opportunity to take out some aggression if you got any. But you just want to keep that brush loaded with dark color. And just come down, tapping. That's all I'm doing. And the reason I'm tapping the color on rather than just brushing it on is I want all that texture in there. We're just filling it in across there. Just adding our dark color. Just tap, tap, tap. Alright. Now I want to grab us a little bit of dark sienna and white and put a little bit on the knife and come up here and put us just a small indication of a trunk in our evergreens. And it don't take much just to, give the indication of a little trunk. That's all we're doing. And like I said, that color's just white and dark sienna mixed together. All right, now with a little bit of cad yellow and just a little bit of green, we're gonna mix those two colors up on the fan brush. And we want to come right back up here and we want to start just putting a little highlight on these trees. We don't want them real bright, but just bright enough. And we're gonna just tap a little highlight color on the same way that we made the trees. Just using the corner of the brush, tap from one side to the other. Let's get this little one. Let's don't leave him out. He'll get mad at us. All right, we'll come right over here on the other side. Load the brush up. Come right up to them. And we'll do the same thing as we did on that side. We'll just lightly add just a little bit of highlight color. It don't take much of this highlight color on these trees. In fact, if you over highlight them, to me it looks worse than if you under highlight them, because you want to leave that dark color in them. All right, now with a script liner brush, I want to come up here where we did all that tapping at, and I just want to put in the indication of some trunks, some little tree trunks up here. We'll just add this in 3. Now you put as many as you want in your painting. I'm just putting 3 in mine. And we'll put a few little branches on it. I don't even know if you'll see the branches or not, but we'll put them on there just in case. Now, I do have a little thinner mixed in this paint. And all that is that's the dark sienna and white that we used earlier, that we put the trunks in. The actual evergreens is that same color. I just added a little bit of thinner to it, thinned it down, and it made some tree trunks. Now with the oval brush, I'm gonna come right up here and just a little bit of thinner on it. I'm gonna get me just a little bit of the alizarin crimson and yellow ochre together, and just load that brush up. A lot of paint, little pressure. Remember that. A lot of paint, little pressure. And just come right up here and just start giving ourselves the indication of a few little leaves on these trees. And this is where you wanna make sure in here you do not kill all them darks. Leave yourself plenty of dark color in these trees. That's what gives you trees that depth, like you can look into them. And don't come all the way down your trunk. Leave some of it kind of exposed. All right, then we're gonna come back down here and we'll make us a little slight color change. So we'll just add that color in now. Tap it right on the brush. Come right back up here. And you can see just a slight color change in that. And all we did was just added just a little bit of the cad yellow That's all we did. Let's get us a little bit of green. We'll add a little bit of green in there for this last one over here. And we'll come right up here and just make us another one right there. Like I said, just make sure that you leave yourself some of that trunk showing. You don't want to cover the whole trunk up. All right, we're gonna add us a couple of firecrackers right across here with that red. Come back up here now with a little bit different color. We're gonna add a little bit of that white and light blue together with a little bit of crimson and get kind of a lavender color, but it's, you know, it's not going to be real purple. And just come right up here and just touch a little of that color on, just to change the flavor. Then come back in here with a little bit more of the yellow ochre on the brush. Come right under those pines and just start tapping down. Just trying to remember not to kill all the dark. I can't say that enough. You do not want to kill all your dark color. Come back down, get a little bit more color on your brush. Come right back up. Add you just a little bit more to it. And just like that, you got you a nice little area of trees. Now with a 2-inch brush, we want to come back up here and just kind of stay under those bushes we just made and in between those trees. Just come up here and just slightly pull that color down and all the way across. Just flatten that color out best you can. That's all we're doing. Now with a little bit of cad yellow and green on our brush, we'll come up and just start tapping us on little grass indications over here. Just keep in mind you lay out a land however you want your land laid out. And then come between your trees. Just tap a little of that color inside the trees and around his little feet. And just lightly tap it. And then go back and load the brush up as often as you need to. That's all we're doing, is just tapping a little of that color on. Creating like a little meadow there in front of the lake. Just real light tapping. It makes that grass look so soft, almost like velvet laying out there. And all I'm doing is just lightly tapping that color on the canvas. That's all I'm doing. Making sure I got plenty of paint on the brush. And the more you tap, the softer it'll get. All right. Now we're going to take a little bit of Van Dyke brown on the knife. Come right up here under our trees. And we're going to build us a little cabin. And the first thing we're going to do is just block it in with the Van Dyke brown. Making that back eave first. And then come down with our roof. Just blocking it in. That's all we're doing at this point. We'll pull this roof down, try to get it straight across the bottom there. Just make sure you got your color on there when you pull it down. You're gonna pull it down straight as you can. That's all we're doing, just blocking it all in with darks. And we come back up there with our highlights, that's when everything will start appearing. Everything will just stand out. When you first start this process, it don't look like much. Just working on that roof, trying to get my perspective right. But we're gonna come back up here. We're gonna do a cabinectomy on it here in a little bit and get everything laid out the way we want it to look. Just blocking it in with darks, that's all we're doing. All right, now with a little bit of that dark sienna and white, we'll come back over here under our eave and pull some of that light color down. Now this is when your cabin will start actually looking more like a cabin. And just pull that color down real easy. Like when you're putting snow on a mountain. Just lightly pull. Now on the back side, we want it to be a little darker. So keep that in mind. Once we get the front, get that bright color, we want to add a little bit of dark to our color, where the sun won't actually be hitting the back side. So we'll add a little bit more Van Dyke brown to it. Darken it up a little. And we just come right up here and add some of that color in. Just remember to make that side darker. Now just come up here and chop it off where you want it. Give yourself a cabinectomy, and that'll help get your perspective laid out. Now with a little bit of dark sienna and a little bit of red, we'll mix those two colors together. And we're going to come back up here and get us a little small roll of paint and just start on our roof and just start tapping down, just letting the canvas pull off what it wants, just lightly tapping. Come back and get a little bit more and just work your way down that whole roof, just lightly tapping. And that's just dark sienna and red. Just real light taps. Then we'll get us just a little small roll again. We'll come on our other side over there. We'll go down that eave. And we will add us just a little small indication of red over there. Make it look like that roof running down on both sides. Now we'll come up here and add just a tiny, tiny bit of the dark color in here. Just look like old boards maybe. And one little trick you can do right here is get you a little small brush after you do that. And just come up here with a little bit more of that dark color. And just start very lightly pulling that color down. And it'll give the whole side there just that old wood look. Like it's just old wood. And we'll do the same thing to the back side. Then we'll give us a little bit of our dark, still using that brush, and we'll come up here. We'll give a little indication of a window right back here on the side. Because I know if I lived here, I'd want the front of my cabin facing that mountain and that lake. That's the view I'd want. So that's the view I'm gonna give him while he's sitting in there, all cozy and relaxing. Excuse me. Just a real small indication of a window. And we'll come down here and get a little bit more of this color. And we'll come on the back side. And we'll give him a couple of windows here. That way he can see out the back. Don't want no old bear sneaking up on him. And you can about imagine the winters here get kind of cold, so we'll come right back up here and add him a little chimney. That way if he gets ready to build him a fire, all he's got to do is go out there and get some wood, build him a little fire. All right, now with that 2-inch brush again, we'll come back up here with our grass colors. Just come around the bottom of the cabin there and just clean all of that up. Just tap that color right on the grass. We'll add just a little bit of highlight up here. Not much. I don't think we're going to have a whole lot of sun just glaring through here, but we'll put a little bit just in case, we do have some sunlight hitting it. All right, I'm gonna come up here now and just scratch out a little spot where, because I know I'd want a path to carry me down there to that lake. I'd want to get out there and at least catch me 1 or 2 fish. So I'm just gonna scrape out a spot, get some of that green paint off. That way the dark color, the Van Dyke brown, when I come back up, that Van Dyke brown will stick better. So we can just bring that. If you don't get enough of it off, come back up there and that's all I'm doing is just barely scratching that canvas. You can probably see the white through it now. And it's just taking the green out. That's all it's doing. Then get just a little bit of the Van Dyke brown. You come back up there and just kind of touch you on a little bit of Van Dyke brown to make it look like a path coming off the front of the cabin and just going down to the lake. And once you get that on, you pick up just a little bit more of the dark sienna and white color and add just a tiny amount of highlight color. It's not going to take much of that highlight color at all on this. So you can just add just a small amount. Just like that. We've got us a nice little path that runs right down to the water. All right, now grab your script liner. I'm going to use red. So we take a little bit of that, thin it down, come right up here, put our signature on it. Let's go to this other side. There's a little bit more room over there. I'll put us just a little small H on it. And just like that, we got ourselves a completed painting. Beautiful little mountain scene with a cabin sitting there. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, like and subscribe, please. Thank you.